Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope readings for the second half of March. Now, March and April this year in 2024, astrologically speaking, are very, very active. There's a lot of things going on, particularly because we're in eclipse season. So in this half of March, on March 25th, we're going to have a lunar eclipse, full moon eclipse in the sign of Libra. So that's going to play into all these energies, which will be incorporated in these readings. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I use the North Node in readings as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant sign is that it's recognized in astrology that your North Node is your North Star. It's what you're here to learn and experience in this lifetime. So it's much more relevant and accurate in readings than your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. Now, and remember, you're going to want to watch two videos, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. With that, I'm going to connect to the energies and then we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see and hear this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Aries and or the first house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, so the card that popped out for you is the Knight of Cups, the romantic dreamer, the knight who goes out and is not afraid to, reach for their dreams and put themselves out there, wear their heart on their sleeve. Now, what's interesting about this is, remember, the full moon eclipse that's happening this month in the sign of Libra is your South Node. It's happening in the sign of Libra. And so there's going to be themes coming up for you that have to do with your South Node, that have to do with leaving some of the kind of maybe challenging parts of Libra, but keeping some of the good things. The interesting thing about the Knight of Cups is, when you think of someone who's connected to their heart in a true way, like a romantic dreamer, in order to really accomplish what it is we want on an emotional level, it takes a lot of courage. And that's what you're being called to do. You're being called to combine that beautiful Libra skill set that you have in your South Node and then add that warrior courage to it. And I think that that's the second half of March with this full moon eclipse in Libra. You're going to have an opportunity to kind of blend these energies. And remember, your South Node in Libra is ruled by Venus, okay? So everything that has to do with the heart. Now, your timeline cards for the second half of March are the reversed Nine of Wands, the Lover's card, and the Justice card. Now, one of the things that could happen for a lot of you for the second half of March, we'll start with this Nine of Wands reversed. This is about not understanding or learning from the lessons in our life. Like, we've all done it. We've all made multiple mistakes of the same kind in our life. It's human nature, and very few of us learn the first time, okay? But that's what this card is. This is about the second half of March, that within relationships, primarily romantic, but remember, the Lover's card is not just about romantic relationships. It's about close relationships of other kinds too, okay, that are non-romantic. Now, what makes the Lover's card different than, for example, the Two of Cups card, which is also about emotional relationships is that if you see the Archangel Raphael up here, okay, this is that these relationships are karmic in nature, meaning that there's probably like past life connections, okay? But for a lot of you, it's going to be your significant other in relationships or someone very close to you, okay? What is it that's happening? What's happening is that there's going to be something that's going to occur the second half of March, and that you want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes, don't get sucked into the same kinds of things that are happening within this. And I feel like a lot of you are going to recognize, like a lot of you are going to pause and stop yourself and say, okay, I'm not going to do this again. I feel that a lot. Why do I say that? Your top timeline card here is the Justice card. And in this case, this is a card of seeing the big picture. Like when you have a judge, which is shown here with, the sword of discernment and intelligence and the scales of justice or weighing things out, a good judge can see the big whole picture of something, of any situation. And I feel a lot of you are going to see that there's going to be this, it looks like a conflict, which we'll get into in a minute, that could reoccur in one of your important relationships in your life. But you have the ability to see it from almost like a judge is not emotionally connected to it. Like see it from a higher place of a vision, okay? And when you do that, it's going to help you to not do the same things that you've always done. Now, what are your advice cards? Okay, you've got the Five of Wands, okay, and then you've got the Fool card reversed. Now, the Five of Wands, this is why I say that there's going to be something that could be some sort of a conflict or disagreement. Now, this could be in a significant, as I said, relationship, romantic relationship. It also could be a relationship, close friend, family member, coworker, okay? And it also could involve not, for a lot of you, it might just be one person, but it could involve multiple people. Whatever it is, it's some sort of a conflict. But what you need to do is see it from this higher place, this higher vision, not do the same things that you've done. Kind of, this is about learning from the lumps on the head that we get through life, right? And taking a different path. Now, the Fool card is as an advice card reversed. The reason it's a heads up is the Fool card's not a bad card. It's not called a fool because the fool is stupid. It's the fool because the fool is inexperienced. It's almost like a childlike exuberance. And a lot of times when people have their North Node in Aries and their South Node in Libra and or, the seventh house, there could be this like childlike exuberance where they maybe keep walking into the same kind of traps over and over again, okay? And so this is saying reversed is make sure that you're not falling into the same like pitfalls and traps by kind of seeing it from a higher, position, okay, like the judge in justice. And really that's when you do that, you can see it. Now what are you supposed to do with it? You're supposed to blend how you react and respond to it with a combination of your beautiful heart and understanding, but with the strength of a knight and the strength of a judge, okay? Where it's like this blend, okay? That's you at your best with this North Node is, as I always say, either the spiritual warrior or the open-hearted warrior, someone who is strong within themselves, but doesn't become so strong that they become hardened type of a thing. Anyway, I think a lot of you are going to like pass this test, and I think a lot of you are going to recognize, these old pitfalls, and you're not going to fall into them. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed where I could look at where your timeline has been, where it's at, and where it could be heading, there's a link to my website in the description box. But with that, I'll say make it a great month. Remember to watch out for that eclipse in Libra, okay? And don't let it trigger old Libra patterns in you, okay? And move toward that strong, Aries in your North Node. Anyway, with that, I will say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Taurus and or the second house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, so the card that popped out as a theme card for the second half of March here is the Five of Swords. And what I think that a lot of you could be dealing with is I feel like there could be it's almost like the universe is testing you where you could be tempted to be sucked into some sort of a drama that has to do with a situation. Could be like regarding a relationship or multiple people, and that relationship could be anything. It could be romantic or work, family, friends. Okay, for each of you it'll be slightly different. I feel like for a lot of you it will be kind of your significant other or someone very close to you, right? Now, the energy of this situation, it kind of has a thing where it's kind of like there could be some things that are said that are not nice, or like kind of demeaning, or a put down, or something like that. And it's almost like a temptation, because it's like a lot of you have been trying to break away from drama and trying to like live like a life that's kind of more free from drama. And I feel like this is something that could like tempt you to get kind of sucked back into it. But I feel like a lot of you are going to kind of resist that. So what are your timeline cards? You've got the Hanged Man. You've got the Queen of Wands reversed, and you've got the Tower reversed. Now, what I'm seeing for a lot of you is that when this situation happens, although it might not feel good emotionally or mentally, I feel like with this Hanged Man, you're going to be seeing things from a higher perspective and not get sucked into it. And I feel like even though the eclipse on March 25th in Libra, um, which is a collective south node Libra, I feel like it's not directly affecting a lot of you, but it is affecting all of us in a certain way. And I feel like that's helping you to get this kind of higher perspective for a lot of you. And that's what the Hangman is. It's seeing things in a different way, and more importantly, not feeling the need to physically, emotionally, or mentally react to it. That's why the Hangman's upside down, arms tied behind his back, okay? And he's not reacting, he's just observing things from a different perspective. And you've got the reverse Queen of Wands, and I feel like this is, again, the reverse Queen of Wands is someone who can react in a way that might be impulsive, okay? And I feel like a lot of you are going to resist that. That's what you want to do. You want to resist the temptation to react impulsively, but kind of stand in your strength. And I think a lot of you are going to see with the Tower reversed, the situation at first, it's going to seem maybe more serious than it actually really is when you stand back. After a matter of time goes by, you're going to see it's not as serious. But a lot of you are going to recognize right away, like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this didn't feel great, but it's not really that big a deal. And that's the big thing of like recognizing that it's really not that big a deal. It's not something that you really need to like, get overly involved in, but it's gonna try to suck you in again to like some kind of drama and things, and you're going to want to resist that. Okay, you're going to want to, what are you going to want to do? Actually, let's look at your advice cards. So you've got the Lovers reversed, and you've got the Emperor card. Okay, this is perfect. The Emperor card is telling you to stand in your own authority and stand in your strength. The Emperor does not get moved one way or the other very easily. The Emperor makes decisions that, after thinking about them and really seeing things, the Emperor doesn't react impulsively. But again, staying in your own authority and not letting someone else control you. Because, like, for example, if, I've heard this said a lot. If you're going about your day, let's say, and you're having a pretty good day, and something happens where someone does something and it completely spins you out of control, and you're going in a different direction, and now your day is kind of sucking, you just allowed that no, I get it, like sometimes there's serious things that happen, but I'm talking about like just a personal issue with somebody, right? Or some situation, allowing that to completely ruin your day. And it's not that you don't do anything about it, but it's like you are standing in your strength and your own personal power without kind of getting sucked in. That's what this is saying. And then with the Lover's reverse card, this is telling me that, yeah, this situation is going to involve someone close to you, and I feel like it's with the Lover's card, it's always a karmic relationship. Excuse me. It's always a relationship. Okay. With the Lover's card, it's always a karmic relationship. It's always a relationship that has something to do with, past life contracts or connections. Okay. And that's why the Archangel Raphael is on this card. So it's something that, you're going to want to see this in from a higher perspective, and show the universe that you're not going to just like let somebody do or say something and then have it take you off of your course. And that's really what this Emperor card is saying, is you respond to it and deal with it, but you don't let it throw you off your course. You don't let it ruin what you're doing, type of a thing. Okay. But as I said, it's going to feel, it could feel a little bit like not good. Okay. And that's what the temptation is. The temptation is, it could call a lot of you to like kind of go into that south node of Scorpio and kind of go to battle. So whatever it is, just realize, again, with the Tower reversed, in the big picture, it's not that serious. Don't be impulsive about it. Be like the Hangman, see things from a higher perspective, a different perspective, and stand in your power, okay, as the Emperor says. But yeah, you'll be fine. Anyway, let me know in the comments how this ends up playing out for you. I'm curious, how it plays out for each of you. But I hope this reading was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal reading, or if you want your astrological chart analyzed where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading, there's a link in the description box below for my website. But with that, I will say thank you so much. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Gemini and or the third house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, very interesting. So the card that popped out for you is the Ten of Swords. And based on what I'm seeing here in the spread in this card is the theme that I'm getting for a lot of you North Nodes in Gemini or the third house is, it's like you're done with something in your life. It could even, for a lot of you, it's like maybe just done doing the same thing that you've always done, like kind of done just being a certain way or reacting, or, for a lot of you, it could be a situation, but whatever it is, and you're good with it, you're healing from it, but it's kind of like something has reached in your life, something has reached its completion. That could be like, a path that you were going down, a career, a job, yeah, a relationship, a friendship. It could be, just like I said, a way of being, or like, let's say some of you are going to say like, okay, I'm going to get serious. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to give up blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give up this. I'm going to start doing, these things healthy. So it's like you're done with an old way of being. Okay. Now, the way this can play out is with your timeline cards. We'll get into those right now. You've got the Seven of Cups. You've got the Five of Cups reversed. And you've got the Magician card reversed. And we'll start with the Seven of Cups. So what it is that after, you've realized, okay, I'm done with this certain aspect or aspects of my life. But then the question is, where do I go? Like, where are my dreams? Where are my emotions taking me? What emotional choices do I need to make? And there could be for a lot of you, some confusion of like what to do about that. We'll get into the reason why, but so there's could be some confusion of like, okay, I know what I don't want to do, but where do I go from here, type of a thing. And then with the Five of Cups reversed, again, this is very much like the energy of the Ten of Swords. Okay, it's like something has happened. Okay, and I'm making sense of whatever this happened emotionally. But with the reversed Five of Cups, it's like it's time to move on from it. Okay, and there could be some difficulty in like just basically not knowing how to move on. Okay, some of you will figure it out quicker than others, but a lot of you, it's going to be like, okay, what do I do with this? Where do I go? And then lastly, on your timeline you've got the Magician reversed. Now, this card is saying this is what you're working toward, which is actually, you're not there yet, okay? But you're working toward the Magician card. The Magician card is ruled by Mercury, which is in, uh, Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, okay? At your highest self, you are a person who is multi-talented, who can see things from different angles and different levels, okay? So you're working toward this and you're not quite there. But what I'm here to tell you is this is what you're working toward. You're working for something that's a flexible mind, someone who is resilient both mentally and emotionally, someone who can explore different aspects of their personality and their talents. Okay, all of this stuff is there for you, and that's the reason why you're going through this and what it is you have to look forward to. But the question remains, how do you get from where you're at now? You know you need to make changes, and you want to make changes in different areas of your life. How do you do that? So here is the advice cards. You've got the Eight of Swords, and you've got the Five of Pentacles. We'll start with the Eight of Swords. Okay, so with the Eight of Swords, this is a card that's known as, a prison of our own doing or our own making. Because you can see on the card that the person is tied up and bound, but the binding is very loose. In other words, it's made clear that at any time you can shake loose from these bonds with your own, strength and energy, okay? And the circle of swords, of eight swords, is not a complete circle. So it seems like you're in a prison or some sort of a binding, but you're really not. You can get out of this at any time. So what's going to happen is that first you have to recognize, in order to make these decisions of where to go, you have to realize that you don't have the limitations that you might feel you have or think you have. Okay, so you have to see that there are multiple possibilities for you. And the reason that's hard with your north node is, remember, your south node's in Sagittarius and or the ninth house. And what Sagittarius is good for is seeing the singular path, of seeing like one path, what I have to do, and I can only, like, I'm going to go down this one road. And so when you get into that mindset, it can be like, well, if that road is blocked, what do I do? Whereas the Gemini or third house is like, oh, the magician's like, well, this road's closed, I'll find another road. And then they might ask for help. And that's what this second advice card is. So the Five of Pentacles is saying that you really, in order to make these decisions, start using the help and resources that is around you, because it's not something that a lot of you are used to doing. The Sagittarius south node that you have, or ninth house south node, is very kind of like, can be independent and like not really wanting to ask for help or to need help from people, okay? But what you want to do is you want to actually, like, there's resources around you that can help you. And that's what this card is indicating. One of the many things this card is indicating is, you can see that these people are very kind of, they're injured, they're out in the snow, they're kind of down on their luck, obviously, but they're looking up at this building that seems to be like warmly lit. It's got something inside that can be of help to them, but they're not utilizing it or recognizing it. So what you want to do for the second half of March is, whatever you're trying to end in your life and make changes to whatever aspects of your life you're trying to do this, remember to keep yourself open to multiple possibilities. Don't let it confuse you. Remember that it's time to, like, move on from it, okay? And what you want to do is, you definitely want to take advantage of seeing where it is that you've maybe bottled yourself up, and where you can just like simply walk away, and you're not bound by any of these things that you thought you were bound by. And then going into this Five of Pentacles, look for people and resources around you that can be of help, because this is a big thing. I think a lot of you are able to um, are going to be able to tap into these resources. And it could be, a family member, a friend, your company, other people around you, okay, an organization. But the reason that's important for your North Node is, it's about thinking outside the box and thinking in multiple possibilities. When there's a roadblock on one road, what other routes can you take to, get to your goal? And that's simply why this is happening. It's like, this is saying like, okay, you want to make these changes. When you make these changes, it's time to start being flexible and figuring out, kind of where it is you want to go, who can help you in this process, and then more importantly, what you're working toward, which is becoming the magician, someone who is multi-talented, who can see things from a multitude of perspectives, okay? This is your highest vision of what you're working towards. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you'd like your astrological chart analyzed, where I see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading, there's a link to my website in the description box below. But with that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Cancer and or the fourth house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, interesting. So the card that popped out for you is the Chariot card. And the Chariot is a lot of things, but one of the things it is, it's not only a card of polarity, but it's a card of movement forward, or actually it could even move, backward, sideways, or anyways. But it's a card of movement. And I feel like for a lot of you, there's going to be things, there could be themes this month and the next couple of months of themes of moving, going on trips and or even like cars and things like that, new car purchases or whatever. That's one like basic level that could be coming up. But the other thing is this is about like moving toward your optimal timeline. There's something that's very important about March and April for you that is going to be for your timeline. Let's get into your timeline cards right now. So you've got the Page of Cups, you've got the Two of Wands reversed, and you've got the Moon reversed. And what I'm thinking right now for you is that there is, as I said, this energy of movement. But what you're going to want to do is you're not going to want to move too quickly in any one direction, and that means like, you know, actually making a move in your life. That maybe really think twice or kind of pause or making like we're talking like physical moving residence. We're talking about could be like moving jobs, moving relationships. You're being told to um, pause on that, and here's why I say that. But particularly, this has to do with the Two of Wands reversed. It's about looking toward your future. It's almost like a lot of you have really been thinking about, okay, like where do I want to go? What is my future going to look like? And this is you want to move somehow toward your future. And as I said, that could be in any number of ways, whether it's a physical move, whether it's starting a new job, a career, or whatever it is, new relationship. And because a lot of you could be worried about the future, but your future with this Moon reverse card is it's being obscured from you temporarily or hidden from you, and you're being like asked by the universe not to think about that too much, because this is like the holdover from your South Node in Capricorn. Okay, so remember your North Node in Cancer or the fourth house has a South Node in Capricorn or the 10th house, which is driving energy, which is going towards success, which is really a movement toward up and out. The Capricorn's symbol is the mountain goat climbing ever higher and higher. And what you're being asked to do is not worry about the future, but worry about the present moment. Here's why I say that. You've got the Page of Cups here, and the page. This is about you're needing to concentrate on your emotional life in the here and now, and really like focus in on it. Because what can happen a lot of times is you could get into this energy of, okay, what's going to happen tomorrow? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to move? What am I going to do? And then you end up like missing the things that are going on around you emotionally in the relationships in your life. Okay. And actually what's going on, when we're focused so much on something like, let's say, getting absorbed in work or some sort of a project, we actually we can lose touch of ourselves. And so that's what this is saying. This is saying like, don't worry about the future so much right now. It's being hidden from you because you're supposed to concentrate on the here and now. Now, what are your advice cards? You've got the Fool card and you've got the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Pentacles normally deals with, we're talking about, juggling finances or, things in our life. Okay. It is about like juggling things. And some of you could be going through that. But really what this is saying at a higher level is it's saying that you are being balanced out in some way. And that's why this is happening. There's a balancing going on in your life, and you're being asked, and your future is being obscured because the balance is to look more at yourself, at your heart and your emotions, at the important relationships that you have around you. So you're being asked to focus that, and that's a balancing that's going on in a lot of you. Okay. With the Fool card, it's interesting because Assuming a lot of you who like watch tarot a lot know that the Fool card's not bad. It's not like you are a fool, okay? Or the Fool card doesn't mean a fool. The Fool card's a great card. It's basically like a childlike innocence or exuberance. It's like, a lot of times you hear people talk about the things they did in their youth, and they're like, I would never do that now. But like it paid off, you know what I mean? And they're saying like they can't believe that they had the guts to do that. But see, that's that childlike optimism is what it is. And that's what you're being asked to develop, is like in the here and now, like where is it that you can kind of adopt that more like connection with your like inner child, inner exuberance, seeing the world with fresh eyes and with a new light. Again, you've got the page of cups here, and that's simply what you're being asked to do the second half of March, is connect with what's going on within you emotionally and what's going on with the close relationships around you, and resist the temptation to worry about the future and where it is you're supposed to go. For the moment, connect with that inner self of your emotional life and with those around you emotionally. And all the answers that you need are right there, okay? Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you'd like your astrological chart analyzed, where I see where your life has been, where it's at now, and where your timeline could be taking in the future, there's going to be a link in the description box below. But with that, I'll say thank you. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Leo and or the 5th house. This is going to be on March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, so the card that popped out for you is the Eight of Swords reversed. And what I feel like is happening for most of you for the second half of March is, I feel like there's a situation that's happening where a lot of you are realizing that, if you're feeling held back or held down in some way in your life or restricted, a lot of you are going to start to figure out that, you know what, I can get myself out of this, or it's not as serious as it seems. Because I feel like a lot of you, especially with these timeline cards, you've got like the Nine of Swords here on the bottom. I feel like a lot of you have been going through a lot of like mental and emotional like stress and anxiety. And I feel like for a lot of you that's disappearing. But what you're going to realize is, a lot of you are going to realize that it's not something that you don't have control over. You're going to find out you do have more control over this than you thought. But I know for a lot of you it's been uncomfortable. I mean, you could have had like a lot of anxiety, dreams, worry, some sort of fears that are happening. um, and there's you're going to start to open up to the fact that, okay, I don't have to feel this way anymore. You get to the point where you're just tired of anxiety and fear, and a lot of you are going to start to make these breakthroughs. But remember, if you're struggling making these breakthroughs and you're still feeling a lot of anxiety, try to think of ways like, can I really, do I have the power to get myself out of this? Or can I, is there help around me that can help me get out of it? But just because I feel like with this card here, it's saying like there is a way out. It's just a matter of seeing it and then going down that path, if that makes sense. So let's get into your timeline cards. I already said the Nine of, Swords here. You've also got the Queen of Cups reversed, and you've got the Two of Wands. So with the Queen of Cups, what I feel like is, I feel like this is you're coming to a place emotionally where it's like you know what you don't want in your life anymore. You emotionally know like what you don't want. And sometimes it can be really powerful when, it's like people say like, well, what do you want out of your life? Okay, what do you want? That's an very important question. But it's also equally important sometimes to know like what you don't want. Well, I know I don't want this because you start to like X that out. And I feel like that's what this queen is. A lot of you are getting to that point, which is helping you get through all of this, is you're realizing like, yeah, like I don't want to be this way anymore. I don't want to think this way anymore. I don't want to have this situation in my life anymore. And what's happening with this is it's getting you to have a clear vision of where it is you want to go for your future. So I feel like a lot of you are really starting to get serious about, okay, like where is it that I want to go ultimately? Whatever that is, what is it that I want? And that's what all this is playing into this, because the thing that gets us to move in life, and remember with your North Node in Leo, it can be very hard because of that South Node you have in Aquarius or the 11th house. It can be very hard to move out of, it's almost like it can be explained like moving out of the tribe and kind of going in a different direction. It can be very scary. If you think like hundreds, thousands of years ago, humanity lived a lot in tribes, and to be outside of the protection of the tribe was extremely scary. So that's what the anxiety is. A lot of you like that have the North Node in Leo or the fifth house can have an anxiety, because it's like on the one hand you want to reach for more in life and do things, but at the same time there's this reluctance of when doing it is like you're leaving the tribe. What is my family going to think? What are my friends going to think? What is my company going to think? And so on. Okay. And so, but that's why this is happening, because this is a point where you're going to be like, I don't even care. Like, I want to make these changes. And a lot of you, kind of will do that. So what are your advice cards? You've got the Four of Wands reversed, and you've got the Fool card. Now it's interesting. So the Four of Wands, traditionally, it means it can be like celebration, wedding, various things like that. Okay, but all of the tarot cards are multi layered. Okay, what this is saying here for you is that the Four of Wands represents the comfort of structure, the number four, like the four corners of a house, okay? A cube, very solid, secure, safe structure. Think of it like the tribe, right? And with the Fool card along with that, this is about venturing out beyond your comfort zone. And that's what you're being asked to do. You're being asked to move away from that comfort zone, the structure of four, the stability, okay? And when you move away from it, I feel like a lot of you are going to do this, where the Fool card is about, a childlike, exuberance, a sense of optimism, okay, moving out into the world and not stressing or worrying about what's going to happen, because that's really what it takes. Like the when people have this North Node in Leo, it's about reaching for greatness, because everyone that has a North Node in Leo or the fifth house has something that they're supposed to give to the world. They have some sort of a special talent or gift or something, and it's for them to break out of the comfort of the tribe and to move out into the world is something that's like very, beautiful. And you should do that, and you should have optimism in doing that. But that's what March is. March is about starting to realize, where it is you feel you're being held back, then realizing that you can step out of that, and any time you do have the power to step out of it, step out of your comfort zone and go out into the world, kind of face your fears. And I think a lot of the anxiety and the fear is going to start to drop. If you're still feeling by the end of March, early April, if you're still feeling that anxiety, start thinking of ways of how you can break away from that. And is it something that you're imposing on yourself? Really explore that. But I feel like the majority of you are going to start to, once you kind of see, it's like pulling a string of yarn on a sweater. Once you start pulling it, I feel like you'll be able to like really, really get at it. It's a matter of just kind of finding that first string. And I think most of you will do that. And remember, you're moving out of that stability and structure of the tribe into your future, which is what is your what is it? What is it? I mean, are you what is your talent? What are you here to give to the world? Everybody that has this north node has something to give to the world. And it's something that, the sooner that you're able to start giving it, all of those fears and anxieties start to disappear. But it can be very scary. I get it at first. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you'd like your astrological chart analyzed where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's going, and where it could be going in the future, there's a link in the description box below for my website. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Virgo and or the 6th house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, very interesting. So the card that popped out for you is the reversed Ace of Pentacles. And based on what I'm seeing here with the spread, I feel like, the second half of March, a lot of you are being given the heads up to start thinking about things in your life in more practical terms. And here's what I mean by that. I feel like a lot of you, because you have the gifts and the challenges of your South Node in Pisces or the 12th house, a lot of you are like very compassionate, very understanding, almost to a fault. And sometimes that can, when you have those tendencies, because it is like overdone, it could kind of attract people that like take advantage of that. And with this reversed Ace of Pentacles, I feel like, yes, this could have to deal with like property, money of something, of some sort, something of a tangible nature, some sort of resources, but not necessarily. It also could be as far as like some sort of compassionate help or assistance, even if that's like, emotionally or just giving of yourself physically or whatever. And what you're being told to do is you're being told to kind of um, think in practical terms of protecting yourself. And what I mean by that, protecting your energy, protecting your resources and those around you, and like not necessarily being too open to just giving. Okay, here's what I mean by that. It'll be more clear with the timeline cards. So you've got the 7 of Swords on your timeline. You've got the Ace of Cups, and you've got the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like there's a situation the second half of March, and it could be someone or some people that you already know, or it could be some new situation. But I feel like there could be some underhandedness that's involved in this, and maybe someone maybe taking advantage of your kindness and your compassion and goodwill and all of that. And what you're being asked to do is you're being asked to not be mean or cold to anybody, but with this 4 of Pentacles, you're being asked to kind of like hold on, like keep your energy, keep your resources, keep things close to you because I feel like this person or people or this situation, it's like doesn't deserve it. We don't have to give everything to everybody that asks us all the time, okay? And I think that's what this lifetime, one of the things it's for you to learn is to learn that yes, you have a beautiful heart and compassion and understanding, and you know, but at the same time you are living a practical life where you've got people that rely on you. You need your resources too. You need your energy, because as I said, this could be also just like giving of energy and time, anything and that is a resource, okay? So you're being asked that maybe there's a situation where the person or people don't warrant it, and you're being asked to kind of like hold things closer to you. Now, the funny thing is that you might see this Ace of um, Cups card here, and you might say like, well, that seems out of place. Like that's about like like love and open heartedness and all that. But all of the Ace cards are like the ultimate completion of whatever energy that is. So in this case, we're talking about cups. Okay, we're talking about emotions and heart. And what this is saying is that this is a test for you to have compassion and love for yourself. Okay. And to say, like, okay, this is a time, because if we don't have the self love, that's not a good thing. Okay. We need to have self love also. We need to have self compassion. And so that's what this is saying. This is saying that this is you treating yourself well. So, for example, a quick example. Let's say that there is a situation where someone or you've just met, that they're a shyster, let's say, or they're some kind of a scam artist or whatever, somewhat, but you feel bad for them or whatever, and they're asking for something from you, whether it be like, time, money, resources, whatever it is, okay? And in your heart of hearts that, you that they don't deserve it, but yet you feel sorry for them and compassion and all of that, which is good. But in this case, and so you end up giving them what they want. Okay, what you're doing right there is, yes, you might think that that's the ultimate, act of giving, but you weren't showing love and compassion to yourself. And so this situation is saying, like, the compassionate thing is to recognize that you can't be everything to everybody. You can't give everything to everybody. You can't be like the savior of everybody type of a thing. And there's a time to simply say, like, no, I can't. I'm sorry. And stick with it. And that's the self-love thing to do. Now, the funny thing is that when you do that, that's the practical side of Virgo, your North Node coming out. But it's also having that compassion. It's also the practical thing to do, not only for your life, but those that you may have that are close to you that really deserve your time, and resources and compassion. Okay, and so you're recognizing that. So, what are your advice cards? You've got the Knight of Wands reversed, and you've got the Three of Swords. Now, the Knight of Wands is interesting reversed, because what I feel like is whatever this person or situation is that could be kind of trying to take advantage, okay? They could definitely be pulling on, playing the violins, really pulling on your heartstrings, really playing the part of like kind of like the victim, okay? And I feel like the advice is with the Knight of Wands is this is definitely having to do with energy, and it's saying the Knight reversed is saying, like, don't give up your energy in this situation. Don't get sucked into it energetically. And the other thing that could be happening with the manipulation is it could definitely be pulling on, your heartstrings, okay? So there could be some sort of like manipulation that's going on with this, and you want to recognize that, okay? again, the situation could definitely affect you, within your emotional space. Okay, so it's not going to be easy, but it's up to you to have that discernment of like, do I really need to give to this situation, person, or people, or whatever. And it's up to you to recognize, because it's not only the compassionate thing for you, but it's a compassionate thing for them too, because it's like sometimes when you are able to say no, then it's like maybe they might have to take a different route, and it could be showing some things about themselves to themselves. They could be seeing some things about themselves, like, well, maybe I need to be more self-sufficient, or yeah, maybe I shouldn't be taking advantage of people's kindness, or whatever it is. But what I'm telling you is the compassionate thing to do a lot of times is have that self-love, and you're being asked to hold back and not give of yourself, time, resources, and energy too quickly, okay, in this situation. And that's the big test. And when you do that, it's the ultimate act of practical self-love, okay? And that's really what the theme is for you the second half of March, practical self-love. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you want your astrological chart analyzed where I can see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it's headed to the future, there's a link in the description box below from our website. But with that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, so this is going to be your monthly Tarotscope reading for March 2024 for everybody with their North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. And this is going to be for the second half of March. Okay, really interesting. So the card that popped out for you, North Nodes in Libra and or the 7th house, is the Ace of Swords reversed. And when I saw this card, like, this is an ongoing theme. A lot of times when we have our North Node in a certain sign and house, the same kinds of lessons repeat themselves, maybe slightly differently, but it's because we're really trying to learn, like, the same lesson. I've never seen this happen where it only comes up once, because we're learning it. And in order to learn something, it's like if you're learning some sort of a skill, do you master it the first time you do it? No. Even if you do it successfully, you might try and fail, try and fail, try and fail, and then you do get it once, but then you don't like stop doing it. It's like you keep doing it. You're mastering an instrument or some other kind of a skill, right? So these kinds of things come up all the time. And what this has to do with is, this is about learning when to use that forceful will that's within your south node of Aries in the first house. So what is it that you want to do for the second half of March? The planet that rules your south node is Mars, and the planet that rules your north node in Libra is Venus. Okay, so you want to approach this situation and many things in your life from the aspect of Venus, right? So what are your timeline cards? We'll get into more details of this. You've got the Two of Wands reversed. You've got the Five of Cups, and you've got the Star reversed. Now, I'll start with the star up here. Whenever I see the star in a reading, we're looking at something that is karmic in nature, but this is also a good card, even reversed. It's one of the few cards that's really good reversed. And it's because you're in the process of making changes and mastering something that can have long-lasting positive effects in your life. So it's nothing to be taken lightly. So when I see this, okay, so it's an ongoing situation that you're really trying to not only master, but accomplish in order for your timeline to reach its highest potential. Um, and what I'm seeing happening is that there is, with this Five of Cups, there's a wounding that has taken place somewhere in your life. And I feel like it's going to be most likely, it's going to be like a dual wounding. You have taken on some wounds, and also another party or person, or even people might have taken on wounds. So it's like a double wounding. There's wounding that's happened. And the way to approach it is, with the care of the planet Venus. Okay. One of the things that can happen is, um, if you've ever experienced, we've all have, okay. If you ever experienced when you're like doing something like, um, hitting your finger with a hammer, or you're getting injured in some way when you're doing some sort of work, like you might be like a minor cut or whatever. The first natural reaction of most humans is we get mad. Like it hurts and but we get mad. And anger is a way to deal with pain. And this is a very Mars thing, okay? And it's very common among everybody, but what can happen is when someone who has a strong Mars energy gets wounded, it can go to anger very quickly as like a defense mechanism, okay? It's a way to like deal with the pain in some way. And in this case, we're talking about, emotional pain and emotional wounds, right? So what you're being asked to do with this situation, and this situation could be something that occurs the second half of March. It's something that could have been an ongoing thing. For each of you, it'll be different. It could be like flared up again, something you have to deal with. But what you're being asked to do is deal with it, on an emotional level without force or anger. And that's what this is saying. Now with the Two of Wands, this is playing into that whole kind of aggression thing, where one of the things that can happen in the way we deal with pain is we can immediately look toward the future. Like, okay, something happened, I'm wounded, I get angry or upset, and then I look to the future, like, okay, where can I go? How can I fix this issue? Where can I go in the future so I don't have to feel this? Okay. And this is telling you not to run away from it emotionally, not to just look toward the future. Where can I go to a better place? But it's not a time to react and run. It's a time to kind of deal with whatever this is. So how are we going to deal with it? Well, your two advice cards are, you've got the Three of Cups reversed and you've got the Four of Cups. Okay, so a lot of cups in this. So we're dealing with something emotionally. One of the things you don't want to do is, with the Three of Cups reversed, is you don't want to gloss over it like, this doesn't bother me, whatever. Like, like there's something that happens and, oh, I'm just going to go out with my friends. Okay, whatever, bye. And you're dealing with it like, okay, yeah, like you don't want me to go on this trip or whatever. I'm going to go on anyway, whatever. Like you're kind of dealing with it in a way that it's a way to kind of cover those things up. That's a form of like kind of misplaced aggression. And so the Three of Cups is saying like, no, you don't want to like, it's not a time to like, like fake, like it doesn't bother me, I'm going to do whatever I want type of a thing. It's a time to like say, okay, let's really look at this. Let me look at my heart and situation. Let me look at this other person's heart and situation. And then with the Four of Cups reversed, which is, basically it could be anything from like, you know, getting, depressed, or being like kind of unsatisfied emotionally with things that are going on. It's saying like, don't deal with it like that where you're just dealing with it like I'm just going to go into a state of, you know, broodiness. It could be like broodiness or isolation, or I'm going to shut down emotionally. That's another thing that this could be. So these are the things you don't want to do. You don't want to just blow it off emotionally or shut down emotionally. But what it's saying to do is, what would Venus do? Okay, it's about like it's time to show compassion to yourself, show compassion to the situation and the other person. Try to see things from their side and deal with it in a way that you know is, you know, you might have to say like, okay, I admit I did this and it was a mistake. Let's talk about it. You know, it can get kind of messy because remember, like what you're dealing with here is you're dealing with the Mars Aries warrior energy, which a lot of times when it's in the south node can be misplaced. It's like when warriors are in battle, they don't have time to consider feelings. I get it, right? It's like, no, it's like, this is it. It's in the moment. We're just going to take care of it. So everything is just pushed aside. But in this lifetime, this is not a time for you to do that. This is a time for you to say, like, okay, we're not in a battle. I don't need to react. I don't need to blow things off. I don't need to like, I can sit here and like, let's kind of go into this. It's a time to delve into things, okay, emotionally. And it's a time to, you know, not necessarily, just like blame others or the situation. You know, it's a time to like kind of really look at it in an honest way. And so the second half of March, that's what I'm kind of seeing for you, that when you do this and you're able to handle this situation and go into it without any sort of like aggression emotionally or mentally, or not kind of like, you know, sloughing it off, or not just like shutting down emotionally, but when you're able to like really deal with it, what you're doing is you're actually rising to another level of strength. And that's like the one of the two messages that I want to give you in this reading. Always remember that there are many levels and kinds of strength. The highest level of strength is being able to do something, but having the willpower to not do it. Getting angry, taking action, especially for north nodes in Libra or the seventh house, is the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing, okay? But to be able to hold back and to say, you know what? Okay, I was wrong about this. I can see your point, or to go into the place of, you know, equanimity, okay, you know, to go in and see the other person, you know, and their situation as an equal. Remember, Libra rules not only Venus, but its sigil are the scales, you know, balancing things out, seeing it. I'll see it from my side and your side, type of a thing. So that's what March is telling you to do. And the big takeaway from this, the second big takeaway is that whatever the situation is for you, when you do this and you show the strength, when you hold back and you don't have to go into battle mode in this situation, and you're able to hold back and go more into your heart using that Venus energy as opposed to the Mars energy, the takeaway and the payoff is this is you moving up a level, okay? And the thing I want to say is it's going to seem like that it's a position of weakness, like to admit we've made a mistake, to admit we were wrong, or to negotiate with somebody emotionally. It doesn't seem like it's strength, but it actually is true strength. True strength is the ability to not act and to be able to see the other side of things. Okay. So the big thing is that this could really like level you up on your timeline big time. Okay. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading, there's a link for the website, my website, in the description box below. But with that, I'll just say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, very interesting. So the card that popped out for you is the Two of Swords reversed. And what I'm feeling like for the second half of March for you North Nodes in Scorpio under the 8th house is I'm feeling like you're being told to open up beyond the physical senses. You're being told to open up your intuition, your, kind of the senses that are beyond the physical. Okay, with this Two of Swords, it's about like one of our main senses we have is sight, like what we see, which and also like what we hear, okay, and feel and touch. These are like the main senses that we use to kind of navigate the world. And you're being asked to like go into what does your heart say, what does your intuition say, what does your gut feeling say, and it's you're being told to open up in this situation. Now, what can the situation be? Your timeline cards are, you've got the Emperor reversed, you've got the Ace of Swords, and you've got the Death card. Now, everybody that watches my channel on a regular basis knows that when I talk about the so-called scary cards like the Devil or Death card or Tower, they're not talking about literal things, but these are energies. In the case of the Death card, what it's about transformation. Something has to die in our lives in order for something new to happen. And I always use this example, but I'll use it again in case you've heard it for the first time. If we want to change something in our life, like I want to get healthy, I want to eat healthy, I want to have a healthy body. The old way of being, of the old way of eating and exercising has to die in order for the new thing to happen. Or we want to do something new in our life, okay? So the old thing has to die. This is simply about transforming from one state to another. Now, what I'm seeing for this situation is I'm seeing that with the Emperor card reversed, there's going to be something that's coming up in your life, and it could be regarding some sort of an authority figure in your life. It could be someone who's a boss or a supervisor. It could be a parent. It could be a teacher, professor, but also other people in our life that could be authority figures. And a lot of times I talk about authority figures in the sense that they could be someone that we're in a relationship with or very close to. And the reason I call them authority figures is because we place them very high up in authority in our life. Okay, so like someone that we're, for example, in a relationship with, the reason that they're an authority figure is that we place them very high. It's not that they're over us or in control of us or something, but we place them at a very high level in our life, and so they become an authority figure. So someone in your life, okay, an authority figure, there's going to be a situation that comes up, and you're being asked to open up your senses beyond what you see, feel, hear, but go beyond that. What does your intuition say? That's what this Two of Swords reverse is saying. You're being asked to open up and see what this situation is. I feel like this situation is something where, you may be calling, your first instinct, for example, maybe with this, Ace of Swords, is to fight or defend yourself in some way. It could be information that's coming in that, you're trying to decipher and you're trying to deal with. Okay. But what you want to do is you want to go beyond the initial reaction and you want to go kind of deeper into this, because I feel like there's something more to the story than what why initially the way it might appear initially. Okay, so you want to go kind of deeper, but the initial reaction is, you might feel like I have to stand my ground, I have to like put up a fight in some way, but you're being asked, to kind of, like I said, go deeper into something that you're, and this is again very like, North Node in Scorpio or the eighth house, to investigate with your intuition, with your feelings, with your mind. Okay. Um, Now, the situation is going to be different for each of you, but what are your advice cards? Okay, you've got the Six of Wands reversed, and you've got the Eight of Swords. What this is really saying is that this there's not something where you automatically, like with the Six of Wands, don't feel like when this situation happens, and I feel like it's going to be some sort of a challenging situation with some sort of an authority figure in your life. And as I said, it could be a close personal relationship. Don't automatically think that I have to win this at all costs. That can happen a lot with your South Node in Taurus or the second house. It's like, you know, I I'm just gonna win this. And I've noticed this over the years with not only this North Node, but I mean, just it could be with just people in general. Sometimes people at a very deep gut level, they might even know that they're wrong about something, but they're like, I'm just gonna fight anyway, because if I fight and I win this fight, I'm gonna be proven right. And that's not right, that's wrong. And it's like that. So you're saying, like, what this card is saying is, don't just feel like, okay, this situation is coming up and I just have to win at all costs. It's saying hold back, go deeper, because there's something deeper to this story. Now, the Eight of Swords is an interesting card because it's a dual meaning card for you. The one part is, this has to do with you, where you are coming out of like mental limitations and emotional limitations that you've put on yourself, and that it's only you can release yourself from this. No one is holding you back. But I also feel like that the person that you're dealing with, when you dig a little deeper, has some issues that are playing into this. Um, what's an example I want to give? Like, let's say we've all seen this happen, not only in our own lives, but we've seen it play out in, like, books, TV shows, movies, and whatnot, where someone says or does something initially. You know what popped in my head? I'll use like a bully situation, right? And we've seen this play out in movies where there's this bully in a school. They could be male or female, whatever. It doesn't really matter, or any gender. And they're awful. They're mistreating people and whatnot. And one of the examples that just popped into my head was um, the old movie from the 80s, The Breakfast Club. Okay. One of the guys that was just kind of like the tough, hardened character, didn't care about anything or anybody, right? But what it turns out when you see these characters is that, like, they might have suffered or be suffering some mental and emotional abuse in their life. Okay. And we've seen this in different characters and situations. We may have even seen it in our own life. And when you look behind the curtain, like when you take it at face value before digging any deeper, you're just like, oh, they're a jerk, they're an idiot, whatever. And you just like, everyone treats them that same way. But when you go a little bit deeper, even though it doesn't justify their bullying actions, when you go deeper, you could see, like, oh, they're like super wounded. They could be abused. And it doesn't, like, as I said, it doesn't excuse their behavior, but you get a deeper understanding, and you're able to help or go at this from a different angle, and possibly help them, possibly not, but at least you understand why they're doing it, that it's nothing personal or whatever. That's what this Eight of Swords, the secondary part of this card is. It's saying that, like, this situation, whatever it is, if you dig a little deeper, you could see, like, oh, I see why they're wounded themselves, and that's why this situation comes up. See, that's very North Node in Scorpio or the eighth house. You're digging deeper, you're investigating, you're being a detective, you're being understanding, and you're able to see things intuitively as opposed to just taking something at face value, which is very kind of like Taurus second house thing. Okay. But anyway, whatever this is, what you want to do is go deeper. And the reason that the death card came up is because this can not only be transformational for you, which it can be, meaning that you're going to be transforming and leveling up to another level. Okay. But it could be transformational for the other person, because what happens a lot when you see these characters where someone begins to have just a bit of understanding and compassion without letting them off the hook, but a little bit more compassion of where they're coming from and why they are the way they are, it can be very transformational for that person. So again, this could even be, like, as I said, authority figures. It could even be like your own parental figure. It could be someone that's older than you. It could be someone who's younger than you. Okay. But it's someone who is important in your life in some way, that it affects you. Okay. And as I said before, it could be a boss or something like that, some sort of an authority figure. But go deeper into this to understand it. And by you doing that, and going into the complexity of the matter, is just like cut and dry. Okay, you're an a-hole. Bye. I'm out. Okay, that's a very, like, kind of Taurus South Node second house. Like, I want things simple. If you can't fulfill this, blah blah blah. Bye. Okay, you want to go deeper into this, and by doing that, there's going to be a lot of value for you, and also them. Anyway, very interesting. Let me know how this plays out for you, in the comments below as the end of the month progresses. I'd be very curious. But I'd like to say thank you for watching. If you have any personal questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I look at your timeline, where it's been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Sagittarius and or the house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, so the card that popped out for you is the Knight of Wands. And I'm feeling like this card is representing an energy of what you want to start embodying the second half of March. The King, Queen, Knight, and Page cards are what's known in the tarot as the court cards, and they can represent either actual people or energies. And I feel like this card is representing the energy of the Knight of Wands, which, Wands rule fire, inspiration, all of the fire signs, including your North Node in Sagittarius. And this is about you kind of like forging a path forward. Now, here's what's really interesting is, part of the task, if you will, of North Node in Sagittarius is kind of like learning and developing their own personal belief system and philosophy. So it can rule, like, for example, like getting into a certain form of spirituality, or just in any sort of belief system, not even necessarily spirituality. It could be something regarding the personality, which is like a way of being type of a thing. And what you're being asked the second half of March is, I feel like there, for a lot of you, there are going to be mentors and guides coming in for you, like guides in the physical sense in the physical world, and mentors in the physical sense in the physical world. And on your timeline cards, which we're going to get into right now, that's kind of why I'm saying this. So your timeline cards are, you've got the King of Wands, you've got the Empress card reversed, and you've got the Fool reversed. And what I'm seeing is that I'm seeing that there, with the Empress and the King of Wands, these are mentors or examples in your life for you to kind of learn from and help kind of hone where it is you're supposed to go. So with the King of Wands, I feel like there is something, it could be an actual person or a book that you read, or something like some form of belief that you're going that you have access to, that is going to be able to help your life. Like, look around you, and yeah, I feel like there's going to be something that could, like, just kind of hit you overnight in a way where, like, things start to click. It could, like, as I said, be like a book you read, or see, or hear about, or like a video you watch, and I feel like it can bring things clearer to you. But it's some sort of a mentor, or actually even like a physical person that's kind of around you. And in the same sense, the Empress reversed is saying that this is saying of representing an actual person too, but it's almost like kind of learning from, sometimes we can learn from people and mentors that succeed in things, but we also can learn from life, from people that have failed in things. And I feel like there's going to be a situation where it's either someone from your past that you start to realize, oh, okay, I can see, like, I don't want to make those mistakes, or it could be, someone new that is coming into your consciousness. But it's like you're learning from them, and because we can learn, as I said, from things that are not going well for people. You're like, oh, okay, I don't want to go down that road. So I feel like the second half of March, there's this feeling of, like, mentorship, and what this is doing is, whether it's, just a mentorship, meaning that, like, we can read a book and that could be like a mentor to us, even though it's not direct, like you going to a seminar and getting trained by somebody. But I just feel like that's the energy that's going on right now, that you're there's things around you that you're able to kind of learn from. And what this is doing is, with the Fool reversed, this is getting you toward moving in a direction from higher wisdom. Like, this is your transformation from your south node in Gemini, or the third house, into Sagittarius north node, or the ninth house. Okay, it's you kind of embodying this new kind of, like, wisdom that's coming in, and not kind of going down the paths of folly. And it's like you learning from that, because it's like, what happens to the fool, as they learn and go through life, and they go down their path, they become wise. They're going to transform into, the hermit and the magician and whatnot. They're going to transform. And I think that's what is happening here. You're going to be able to, the second half of March, which is really fun, is just like learning, try to learn from life, learn from those around you. But I feel like there's going to be some things that are going to definitely stick out. Like, if you feel like, you know what, I really should go to that seminar, or I should go to that talk that this person's giving, or I really want to, like, delve into this, like, system of whatever it is, like, system of navigating life. But like I said, for each of you it's going to be different, but there's some form of wisdom that is around you right now, that you're being asked to kind of take in and absorb, and essentially it's going to help you on your path. So what are your advice cards? Okay, you've got the Eight of Wands reversed, and you've got the Four of Swords. Okay, this is perfect. These cards are saying and complementing the exact same thing. The Eight of Wands is a card of movement, quickly, moving forward at a very quick pace. But when it's reversed, it's saying, hold your horses, slow down, don't move too fast. And then you've got the Four of Swords, which is the card of repose, of meditation, of taking the time to, it's not, a lot of people, misconstrue and misunderstand this card. It's not, like the person's not dead. They're in a position of repose. They're in meditation. They're not moving because they're contemplating things internally. Okay. And so what you're being told to do this second half is don't be scattered. Don't move around in that like Gemini South Node energy all over the place, scattered. Focus in, mellow out, and really pay attention to what's going on around you, who's around you, what information's around you. Really take it in, because this can play off big time, okay? Play big time into your positive future timeline. So really, really take the time, to do that. Yeah, and I feel like ultimately with this Knight of Wands, it's like redirecting the knight, like going from where you're at now, and it's like the knight has new instructions of where to go in order to have like their best life and their best timeline. So it's all kind of playing into that. But yeah, really interesting month for you. Let me know in the comments, how this plays out for you the last half of March. I'm really curious to see. But I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I look at where your timeline's been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll just say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, really interesting. So, the card that popped out for you is the reversed Emperor. And this is a card, like when I saw this card, okay, this has, for this month for you, it's a dual meaning. It is an energy or person outside of you, but it's also an energy that you're being asked to embody. What do I mean by that? Okay, so this is referring to some sort of an authority figure in your life. It could be a parental figure, it could be a boss, a supervisor, a teacher, or someone else very, very prominent in your life, okay? But it's also an energy that you're being asked to kind of embody. And I feel like this is, for a lot of you, this is regarding what it is you're doing on a day-to-day basis, as a career or work. And that could be, even if you are not working outside the home, whatever it is you do for work, because we all have to work at something. I mean, even if you're like a stay-at-home parent, that's your job type of a thing, okay? Everyone, or if you're a student, that's your job, okay? So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what it is you do and you're working toward on a daily basis. I feel like it's going to have to do with that. We'll hold off on this for a second. Let me get into your timeline cards and I'll go into more detail. So you've got on your timeline, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. You've got the Strength card reversed, and you've got the Moon reversed. So as I said, with this card, this has to do with something that you're doing for work, whether you're a student, career, or stay-at-home parent, whatever it is you do. Okay. And there's a situation that comes up where you could be feeling like burdened by a lot of things in your life right now, like burdened or stressed. And that's what this we haven't got into your timeline or your uh, advice cards, but you've got the 10 of Wands reversed. So there could be like some kind of stress that's coming in regarding this. Simply put, what's happening is that you are being told to embody what I like to call the strong parent, which is somebody that is strong and resilient, but also somebody who has connection to their emotions and that has feeling at the same time. So it's this kind of combination thing. And you could have people in your life that it could seem like you're being like pushed and prodded in ways that you don't like. And that could be at work or whatever it is you're doing. And there are things that with this moon card that are kind of hidden from you, meaning that it doesn't make sense to you why certain things are happening. And it's because it's the reason it's being hidden from you is because it's not that it's intentionally being hidden, but it's that you kind of don't see it. It's like the moon card are things that are hidden, but sometimes we just don't see things because it's nighttime, it's dark, and we can't see them until we bring some sort of a light into the darkness type of thing. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here for you. So what are you being asked to do? You're being asked to look at whatever the situation is for the second half of March, and you're being asked to not approach it in the same way. The situation could be something it could be causing you stress, it could be causing you burdens, it could be causing you grief of some sort. And as I said, most likely it's something that you're having to do for work, okay? And you want to not let it burden you, but actually approach it in a way that is different than you have in the past. So as I said, with the 10 of Wands reversed, you want to like not look at it like it's a burden, but look at it more like a challenge type of a thing. So it's like, okay, this is happening. I'm not going to think of it as like it's really bogging me down or a burden, but it's more like a challenge. Like, okay, I'm going to approach this like I got to fix this, because sometimes it's like, think of the energy of like you have a situation where, and I always like to use movies as an example, right? The character in the story in the movie is faced with a challenge, okay? And sometimes we see the characters and they fold. You're just like, oh, I just can't take it. And we've seen this time after time in movies where the character just like it just folds up, they give up. That's it, okay? There's other times that we see the character stand up and face the challenge and say, you know what, okay, I might feel overwhelmed for a minute or two, but then they like get up and they get resilient and they face the challenge. That's kind of what I'm seeing with this situation, okay? Where it's going to feel like you're going to feel like I really don't feel like dealing with this, and I know it's not fun. But if you look at it like a challenge, like, okay, it's like I'm going to do this, And the crazy thing is that even if you think of it like, even if you don't necessarily succeed by standing up to the challenge, at least you stood up to it and you at least tried to, kind of fight back. I mean, isn't that better in a story, right? Like you see a story playing out and you see that one character who just says, oh, I don't know, I'm just going to give up. And then the other character that says, you know what? Whatever happens, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go down swinging. That's the literal definition of the phrase going down swinging. Like, I'm going to, I might fail, but I'm not going to go down without a fight type of thing. That's what this is saying. And with the Nine of Wands reversed, this is saying like, okay, these are about, things that have happened, battles that you've been in, situations that you've been in, but have you learned from them? And so the Nine of Wands reverse is saying like, it's really important, like, okay, think about the times you've been in these types of situations, both mentally and emotionally and physically, and do something different, like learn from the past. That's what this is saying. Learn from the past and choose maybe something different, like out of the ordinary. Now, the interesting thing is with the Strength card reversed, a lot of people that have this North Node in Capricorn or the 10th house, they don't naturally feel strong. A lot of them, okay? You may not feel strong, but I am here to tell you that no matter how strong you feel, both mentally, emotionally, and physically, you are a lot stronger than what you perceive yourself to be. Trust me. This is 100% in your astrology, in that North Node. You have strength that you haven't yet tapped into. It's there. Some of you may have tapped into it, okay? But it is there. And trust me, what you want to do is whatever the situation is, okay, for you, think of it as a challenge and don't be like the character that feels overwhelmed and just gives up. Go down swinging. Whatever this is, it could be like meeting a deadline at work, dealing with some sort of a situation in a relationship, whatever it is for you. And this is good advice for you, not only this month, the end of March, but for your whole life. Always be resilient, go down swinging, because you will be rewarded for moving toward everything with strength. Okay. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you. Let me know how this plays out for you in the comments. Come back in the next couple of weeks and let me know. I'm really curious how this all plays out for each of you. It's always interesting to hear your stories. Anyway, if you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like a astrological chart reading where I see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be going, there's a link in the description box below. Would love to give you more information on that. But again, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful to you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Aquarius and or the 11th house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, really interesting. So the card that popped out for you is the Knight of Pentacles. And the interesting thing is, I feel like, this card is representing you and what you're doing at this particular time of your life and this particular end of March, what it is you're giving to those around you. You're like, actually you're being like a stabilizing factor for a lot of people in your life in some way, like something to where people can either lean on you or rely on you in some way. Like, you're learning that you are playing a role of, like I said, helping or like stabilizing, because the Knight of Pentacles is something that is like, it's not all the knights are a card of movement, but the least amount of movement of all the knights is the Knight of Pentacles. It's like a stabilizing type of an energy. Now, your timeline cards are, you've got the Queen of Cups, you've got the Magician, and you've got the Three of Wands. And as I said, I feel like you're like being asked to be like this kind of inspirational factor in people's lives this month. You're being a stabilizing, you're being something of value to various people in your life. And so with the Queen of Cups, I feel like this is an actual person in your life. It's someone who could be a water sign, so it could be like a Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer sign, and not necessarily a female, because none of the court cards are gender or sex specific. They're just different energies, you know. But I'm just saying, like, someone that has a very strong, like, emotional connection uh, to themselves and to the world. Okay, so I feel like you're being a stabilizing factor for them. And then with the Magician card, I feel like this is something where it's like a mutual thing. Like, there's someone in your life that you are helping in some way, and they're giving back to you in a sense of something else, like possibly like learning a skill, or possibly, you know, just kind of showing you something new that it didn't occur to you, type of a thing. But I think this is an actual person in your life, because remember what you're doing in this lifetime. If you have a North Node in Aquarius or the 11th house, you are learning to come in and work for the tribe, work for the family, work with and for, you know, the community. Okay, that's what it, as opposed to being like the lone wolf. So you're bringing your gifts and talents and energy into the collective. Okay, and in this case I feel like it's like actual you know, people. Now the payoff of this is moving toward the Three of Wands here, which is the top of your timeline, which is this is playing out toward your future and where it is you're heading. It's basically setting a course, because you can, if you can see very closely here in the Three of Wands, this person is looking out over the cliff, and there's ships here. Okay, so this is charting your course forward, and I feel like you are helping people in some way. You're helping them with just being there for them, or with your creativity, or with your positiveness, or whatever it is. But just remember, the second half of March, try to be there for people around you. Don't feel like it's something that is a burden, or like, you know, it's stressful to you. Try to be there for those around you that are close to you, whether that be, you know, in a work situation, a family situation, a friend situation, in a personal relationship of some way. Just kind of be there and be that stabilizing positive factor in their life. And that's kind of what is playing out, and it's a huge thing for your future. Now, what are your advice cards? Okay, so you've got the Hierophant, and you've got the Four of Wands reversed. Now, this is really interesting because these cards, when they're both upright, for example, have somewhat of a similar meaning, in the sense that, you know, the number four of wands, is like a cube or a square. Okay, it's like a stabilizing factor. It's a very stable number. It's like the four corners of a house, like, as I said, of a cube. Okay, and the Hierophant is also tradition. It's stability. It's the way things have always been done. The funny thing is that what this is doing is you're being someone that is a stabilizing factor for people, helping them with the Hierophant, with your inner wisdom and philosophy, which is helping a lot of people. But at the same time, you're breaking out of your patterns that you have of maybe, like, saying like, okay, I need to just worry about me. I just need to worry about, you know, kind of what I'm doing in my life. And you're kind of like putting that aside, and you're saying like, I'm not going to do that in this case. And what you're actually doing is you're really being this major factor for people around you, which is one of your great gifts. You know, a lot of people that have this North Node don't realize the impact they can have with those around them in their community, in their families, in their companies and work, or in the world in general, you know. And so that's really what you're doing with all of this, is that on an individual basis, you know, like I'll give you an example. Like you are helping someone out with something on a work project, okay? And you're kind of like really going out of your way and helping them, and maybe helping them understand something. And part of you is thinking, like, why am I doing this? Like, what am I getting out of it, right? But you do it anyway. And you don't realize that by doing that can really affect your timeline in a positive way. And when you do that action, and you actually like are using some of your gifts and talents to help somebody else, or people, what you're really doing is helping yourself. You're helping your own timeline. But as I said, this the second half of March, it's a big thing. You are some sort of you have the ability to be like some sort of a stabilizing factor for people in your life. And for each of you, as I said, it could be slightly different who it is you're helping. But just remember that when you go through the second half of March here, how is it that you can extend yourself with your thoughts, your gifts, your talents into like kind of helping those around you? And you're going to see that it could really, really pay off for, where it is you're moving, toward in your future. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's going to be a link to my website in the description box below. But I just want to say thank you again. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house. This is going to be your March 2024 Tarotscope reading for the second half of March. Okay, really, really interesting. So the card that popped out for you for this second half of March is the reversed Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is one of those cards that is also positive in its reversed state, because in like somewhat like the Sun and the Star card, because the wheel is always turning. The wheel is turning, always wants to turn. If it's down, it wants to turn up. It's constantly turning. And I feel like it's a very karmic card, for you. So it's something that is transforming. You're in the process of the upswing. If we look back at the story of our lives, and we like go like, year by year, decade by decade, we realize that there's times like, we have up times and we have down times, and like you're in the time where you are rising and transforming right now. Okay, let's get into your actual timeline cards. Okay, so you've got the Death card, you've got the Ace of Swords reversed, and you've got the Three of Swords reversed. Now, if you watch my channel and videos for any length of time, you know that when I talk about the so-called scary cards like the Devil, Death, the Tower, okay, they're not like literally bad cards, okay? Death is a card of transformation, and it's a card that is actually very positive, because it's everything that needs to transform. Something old has to pass away and leave before we can transform. So you're in this process right now of transformation. Like what I feel like is a lot of you are going to be really like surprised, like pleasantly surprised, especially if you stay on your timeline, your optimal timeline, and you stay on your path of where, like 5, 10 or more years where you're going to be. Okay. It's about like staying the course. But remember that when we're in the process of transformation, it can seem like very difficult and it's hard to see things. It's like, you know, like the caterpillar that is in, the cocoon, and it's in the process of transformation. It can be very confusing and gooey and whatnot, but the end result, it's hard to believe where they went from, being a pod of cocoon of goo into like this gorgeous like butterfly that's able to like float on the wind. It's a completely different thing. And so that's the process that's going on right now. Now, the other timeline cards are the sword, Ace of Swords reversed, and the Three of Swords. And what I feel like is that there is this mental energy that's being transformed in your life. It's energy that is like mentally and emotionally things that you are dealing and healing with. It's this process of slowly understanding, it's like a complete transformation of thinking that's been taking place. And I think a lot of you, if you really look back 5 or 10 years or more of, the transformation of where you were and where you are now, it's completely different. And I feel like, the Three of Swords reversed is saying like this transformation of healing of how your thoughts have affected your emotions. The Ace of Swords reversed is how your thoughts have affected your actions or non-actions, type of a thing. And remember, your South Node in Virgo, or the sixth house, is ruled by Mercury, which is an air sign, which swords rule all the air signs, right? So it rules like all the mental faculties that we have. Okay, so really what you're learning the second half of March is it's this continuance of you're in this process of transformation. So look, you're not, a lot of you aren't feeling complete in what it is you have to do, and that's okay. It's like, I'll use the whole, like, one of the, greatest examples of transformation and metamorphosis is the caterpillar into the butterfly. So if you're 4 months away from, a caterpillar's in the cocoon, just goo and kind of getting together, it might seem like I'm just going to give up, like that's it, that process of transformation. Whereas if they just kind of continue the transformation process, the end result is going to be good. And that's kind of like, you could be feeling like, I'm still in this like, why am I not like flying yet, type of a thing. And that's kind of what I'm seeing, is that you're in the process. You just have to keep the process going. That's what all this is saying. Now, what are your advice cards? Okay, you've got the Seven of Swords reversed, and you've got the Five of Pentacles reversed. Now, two things. Number one is that this is, again, the Seven of Swords is that mentally things that were taken from you, okay, that affected you emotionally and mentally in the past, okay, are starting to heal. And so your best self is starting to come back. Things that may have been taken from you mentally and emotionally are in the process of coming back. And as I said, it's still a process, is what I'm seeing and feeling for you. So it's just something where it's like there's positive movement, but you're still kind of in that formation, and you just have to kind of continue and roll with it. And I think that if you feel into it, if you really feel into it, and don't go back into like overthinking like Virgo and overanalyzing it. If you really like honestly analyze it, with your open heart and intuition, you're like, okay, I can see I'm moving in a positive direction, even though it doesn't, feel right. If I don't overanalyze things and I'm kind of like, just if I can see that I am going forward, but it can seem very frustrating because it doesn't seem like it's happening fast enough, and you just have to kind of continue on that road. I've used this example before, but like, you'll see like a meme a lot of times where it'll show like, an illustration, like a kind of a cartoonish type figure where they'll be digging with a pick, right? And then they'll be like just a few inches away in the dirt. There's like a diamond hidden in there, and and then the person, you can see they've dug this huge hole and tunnel, and then they finally just give up, and they gave up so close to the prize that's right there. Okay, you may have seen this meme going around. It goes around, but that idea is very common. Okay, it's kind of that kind of a thing. Like, just don't like give up. Just keep going toward it, because it is a process. It'd be like, as I said, 3 months before the caterpillar emerges as a butterfly. It's like kind of giving up on the process. Now, the Five of Pentacles reversed is saying that, remember, what's really important for you is to connect to help that's around you. Connect to, and in particular, because of your North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house, connecting to spiritual energies, connecting to the universe, connecting to your guides, to your guardians, to whatever form of spirituality, whether that even be like meditation and manifestation, but something beyond the physical world, like going into something, whatever that is, even if it's just positive thinking, all the way up to, real, like going into like, magical thinking or whatever it is, but going beyond the physical senses and getting help from that. And yes, that could be like, whatever that is for you personally. Okay. But there is help out there, because that's kind of like one of the keys in all of this transformation process, is to remember, like, using the power that you have, because all of you that have this North Node, you have this natural connection to universal energies, to spirituality. Okay. And you want to explore that. Like, yes, even the power of, like, positive manifestation. You could say like like prayer. Okay. Even, and when I say prayer, it doesn't necessarily mean like, like in a religion per se, although it could. It's just whatever connects to you personally, but basically some sort of higher universal forces is what I'm saying. All right. And remember that that's a key for you in this transformation process. Remember, you're not doing it by your own self, your mind, just your own. You're working in partnership with the universe. That's part of your path. Okay. And so never forget that. So simply what I'm saying here is that, look, you're in this process, okay? And a lot of you are like, when's this process going to be over? For each of you, it's going to be different. Just all I'm saying is continue on, because remember, with the Wheel of Fortune reversed, it can very quickly turn upright. And when you have the Wheel of Fortune upright, okay, it's really good things, right? So you're in this process, and when this wheel goes upright, that's when the butterfly comes out of the cocoon, okay, and reaches their highest ability, and their kind of highest timeline. And that's what we're looking for you to do. So keep on this path. Remember, this is all about transformation, and yeah, you're gonna make it. Just keep going. Remember that you're working toward this. Okay, you're in the goo phase right now. Okay, you're still in the goo, but just keep going forward. All right. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you'd like your astrological chart analyzed, where I see where your timeline has been, where it's going toward in the future, there's a link in the description box below. Let me know how this all plays out for you in the description box, or I should say in the comments for this month. I'm always curious about how the stories play out. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings.